Hi all. Right, back with a little bit more Red Storm Dark Blue Defection. Scenario 5 Dark Blue Defection, and this is my part 16. We're still on turn 6 of this scenario, which lasts 12 turns. Didn't think I was going to be able to record any today, bit busy, so this will probably not be, well, I think I've said that before and still being able to create a part, but we'll see. Time is a bit of an issue. And to be honest, I was wanting to talk about, because John's comments are starting to build up a bit now. So I've got comments from part 7, 8 and 9. So I know we've moved on. We've moved on a bit since then. So, but I do want to go through some of these, and I'll try and make them a bit quicker than... yeah, some of them I'll just leave you to read there yourself. Just mention what it's about. Okay, so part 7 at the 44-minute 40-second mark. Yeah, it was given an explanation of why we check morale. He says since engagement was successful, a dogfight happened, but primarily due to it being night, neither side got an opportunity to take a shot. A dogfight without shots is less stressful and may do things to the flight's cohesion. So, yeah, you still do a morale check. I don't think we got any... Yeah, I don't think anybody took any shots, did they? But we still checked morale. I think that's what that was about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That seems to be given an explanation that morale still comes into it. Right, let me just check. It must be... My guess is this is regarding Chevy flight. So let me just click on the link here and have a look. Okay, yeah. This was when he reminded me, well, he actually asked the question to me, are you within 5 hexes of the front here? And it's Chevy's involved in air-to-air combat with somebody, I think. And he's clearly not within 5 hexes, because it's in that area somewhere, which is far more than 5 hexes in. So he's obviously just asking there, and then it just clicked with me. I thought, oh yeah, well, because what happened was we scattered and dropped to low altitude, and I was a bit baffled by, does this count? And when I looked up the rules, I wasn't really sure. It wasn't clear under the inherent part of the rules. However, it did say that a mobile AAA, i.e. a 2K22, if you scattered into that, like if it was one of the actual 2K22s, if you scattered into that, it would trigger a fire from it. So I guess it was because it wasn't speaking about it under inherent. I think I eventually came to the conclusion that I believe it was going to fire. So I done the die rolls for it, and we actually got to the damage. Fortunately, nothing happened because, well, I say fortunately nothing happened because we shouldn't have took the check anyway, because we're more than 5 hexes across the front, so there's no inherent AA there. I just forgot about that completely. So John picked me up on that. So, and then he carries on, but because asked the question on BGG about, does that inherent fire count when you scatter, but I mean, I conclude that it does. But John's reply says, but yes, bringing my BGG answer here, if you are within 5 of the front, then you do need to take an inherent SAM AAA zone attack. My take is that you treat the inherent SAM AAA zone as a 2K22, so the following rules from 14.63 would apply. So yeah, and then it reads out the rule, which regarding it scattered. So yeah, I'm not sure why I guess, again, just saying it again, it's because it doesn't mention it under inherent. But if you notice that, it doesn't mention it under small arms as well. And I believe John said that that would work as well if you scattered and hit that. So, and then the other answer that is brought here from BGG was regarding the speed and checking the modifier here for speed that we talked about. So he's got it there. I mean, I spoke about it already before. He says, bring him answer here. Obviously, the flight that is moving would use the speed modifier. I believe a flight that previously moved this movement phase would also use the applicable modifier for the speed it moved. So whatever speed it was at. So tricky to keep track of. He says the trickier one is if the flight is not moved, in which case I would treat it as a speed of 3, no modifier. Right, yeah. I spoke about them anyway, and that's fine. That's good. So yeah, wait. Let's just quickly move on, Grant. I noticed that was part 7 was the one that I made that mistake in my turn. They never mentioned, they never talked about anything there, but I suppose it was a mistake, and there's nothing I could have done about it. I think that was the part anyway. When I could have made the turn round and got in, and I didn't spend enough time on it as it is. Oh, one other thing, I've been watching back in some of the parts. I'm going to put a wee note in the header of the part that I think I'm up to part maybe 11 or something. How many times now have I went to try and engage in BVR combat and spent all the time moving the flight into the proper position, and then realising at the end the rules of engagement were going to be broken because there was a friendly flight close by. I think I've said it already, but it was absolutely, I was like, it was excruciating watching it again, thinking I was there for about 15 or maybe 20 minutes. So, well, maybe it wasn't quite that long, but anyway, it was a long time, and I've done it about 3 times. So I'm hopefully got it in my brain now that any time I'm wanting to consider BVR combat, that's the first thing I should look at. Because, you know, you're going to try and move your flight around, and I kind of wish there was maybe something there that said within the bot rules, you know. Well, mind you, I've done it for my own flights as well, and only realised right at the last minute. So maybe if it just highlighted it, that was an important bit to check first, you know. Check to see if your rules of engagement are good before you then start manoeuvring your flight and all that. But then maybe it's common sense, and we should all be doing that first. And you should realise right away. I mean, that's when I looked. There was 3 flights in the way. 3, not 1, not 2, 3. They were all breaking the rules. Anyway. Right, okay, moving on quickly, because my guess is this is probably going to take up 20 minutes going through this. Right, this is from part 8, and John's first comment at the 11-minute mark. Now, this is interesting, and a bit annoying, and I'm a bit annoyed with myself, to be honest. At the 11-minute mark, he says, I would probably still stick with closest to any human flight. Now, what he's talking about, well, I've not clicked on the link, but I know what he's talking about. Well, hang on. Let me just double check. Okay, yeah, the situation, I was going to start laying some counters out to describe the situation, but I mean, it's time-stamped there. Go and look at what part it is if you're curious, if you don't understand what I'm talking about here. So what it was we had two flights that were hearts. They were both real bot flights. We had more than one initiative, so we had to decide between the two which one was going to move first. So, and this part talks about real bot flights in the suit move first. Okay, so remember, but both of them were real flights. In order, based on proximity to human players' flights, with the closest moving first, resolve ties by random selection. But I'd read this bit and decided by myself to insert the words proximity to detected human players' flights. And I felt like I was right in thinking that way, but John's actually said I would probably still stick with the closest to any human flight. So I'm just wondering, he's given a reason here. His reason being is that as a Warsaw Pact player, and again, you need to see the video of this, he says, I would definitely want to move Wolf first if Vegas had not moved, so I could do things on my own terms. The problem... well, what you're talking about there, John, is that Wolf would move first, Yeah, because Wolf's closer to a player flight, right, at the time. However, the flight that he's closer to is not detected. So going by the words written there, it should still be him that activates first. However, when he comes to do his thing, he's not going to look at that undetected flight because he can't target that. He's then going to move, he's then going to go to the detected flight. So I'm assuming that's what John means he would do. I would definitely want to move Wolf first if Vegas had not moved, so I could do things on my own terms. Extend away from Vegas. Right, hang on. Okay, I need to study the comment while looking at the video because he's got quite a detailed explanation of reasons why you would do it that way if you were playing as a Warsaw Pact player, right? Which you might say, well, this is a solo system. We're not looking at that. Well, that's fine, but it does not say detected. It does not say that it should be a detected human player's flight. And I've just I'm annoyed with myself for doing that because that's not like me. I've read that and thought that they've meant detected, and I've just took that for granted myself. As I shouldn't. I should have just stuck by the rules as written. And I'd sooner have John tell me no, that should say detected. It's a misprint, or I'm pretty sure it's meant to be detected. I'd prefer it that way, and then at least I've got the backup of saying, well, that's not what it says in the rules. So, that's annoyed me that a little bit, but I'm glad he's brought it up, and it's brought me back down to earth, and the fact that I should just do these things as is, because that's not even me doing a sort of right. I'm going to override that instead. There, which would have meant that that Wolf flight moved before the Mechlin flight, whereas I done it the other way about. Okay, so we'll call that a little blip. I don't know if it was anything major that might have affected things. I think he said it's a little less cut and dry with Vegas having moved, because he was talking about if Vegas hadn't moved yet, that he would do it. He would probably move Wolf first and all that. Like I say, you'd need to read it and work out how he was all going about that. But the fact that it's written that way, I should have done it that way. So I will revert to that from now on. I won't look at detected flight. I'll look at the closest flight, and that'll be the flight that'll activate. Now it can be adjacent to an undetected flight, so it'll activate, but it won't then go for the undetected flight. Of course, it'll have to go elsewhere. Anyway, okay, right. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up though, John, because I would have just carried on doing it that way, which would have been not good. Again, maybe it might matter sometimes, and the fact that the bot does end up in bits where I could see you gaming things a little by sort of knowing what the bot's going to do and able to do things, to sort of mess with it a little bit if you wanted to go down that road. So maybe something like that might stop some of that messing. It could do. 17-minute 40-second mark. You'll be happy that it is night if any Warsaw Pact flights manage to get to Mother. Yeah, I'm guessing he's talking about if they were to get to the helicopters there. I'll just leave that there. Yeah, I'm having a hard enough time with Mother there at the moment, as you'll have now noticed once you've caught up to where we're at. Anyway, in fact, there's a good risk we're not going to succeed with this, to be honest, because we've lost a helicopter already, haven't we? And we've still not picked up Nikolai. Right, now here's another good point. Although he doesn't seem 100% sure, but this is how he takes it. He says, my take is that, this is at 29-minute 50-second mark, my take is that mobile AA is not a ground unit. Ground units are the army ones, like the mech and arm units you attacked in DBD 3. I must admit, my initial thought to that was that was the case. But I think reading it, well, we'll have a look just now. It says, and every time ground unit is used in 14.6 and its subsections, it's referring to the parent ground unit of organic mobile AAA. That said, it's entirely possible I'm wrong and 2K22s have an organic small arms barrage in their hex. So I guess I'm not going to find it clear cut in the rules then. Hang on. I think maybe the part that got me, John, was when it talks about here. This is page 24, 14.71, organic small arms barrages. And this is what I was given. I was given that extra AAA fire when you go over the top of a 2K22. It says all Warsaw Pact and NATO ground units, which is what John said. However, it's the next bit, I think. It says other than SAM EWR units. So would you, if like you're saying that ground units are the army ones like mech and arms, then that's right there, it's classing ground units. SAMs is ground units. Well, the way it says it there, no? Right, where 14.6. Right, hang on. Every time ground unit is used in 14.6. Right, okay. Yeah, basically 14.6 talks about the ground units that have organic mobile AA capability, which is a different thing to what I was. You know, that's a ground unit that's got a 2K22 in its hex, basically, I think, as well, wasn't it? But I guess what he's trying to say there is the definition of ground unit. But again, would you mean it doesn't mention mobile AAs? But just the way all Warsaw Pact NATO ground units, other than SAM/EWR units, project a small arms flak barrage. So that means, that kind of tells me that a SAM/EWR unit is classed as a ground unit, the way it's got it there. But admittedly, there's no talk of mobile AAs in there, and if their class is ground units, yeah, it's a bit not sure. That might be worthwhile asking a question, because obviously John's not, he does say that said it's entirely possible I'm wrong, so that might be worthwhile asking a question. I might go and do that, John. Or if I don't, if you want it yourself, or well, I think you know what I'll do. I'll probably chuck that question out there, because it doesn't sound like he's 100% sure about it as well. So why not? Yeah, okay. I'll once I get the time, and hopefully I'll remember. Well, I'm glad you brought it up, because if it doesn't apply, that's another thing that I'm doing that's wrong, obviously. Okay, this is a good point. 36-minute and 45-second mark. When you do an air-to-ground attack, you can have each aircraft in the flight spend bomb points towards the total bomb point for the attack. It doesn't have to just be from all one aircraft. I did know that. I just thought it was simpler. But his reasoning here makes some sense. Because I kind of thought, well, if I spend it all from one aircraft, and then if that aircraft gets shot down, I'm thinking, ooh, well, he didn't have any bombs left. However, what if it was the other aircraft that got shot down, the one with a fully loaded bomb load, you know? So he says, unless I'm dropping everything on one target, I typically spread it between at least two aircraft, so that, using the shorthand from the damage table, a single D/C/K result doesn't totally destroy the flight's air-to-ground capability. So there you go. It's worthwhile spreading your bomb points about. Yeah, I read this bit and I wished I hadn't. He says also a slightly gamey observation, but the trailing aircraft in the flight are more likely to take hits, so I tend to use from aircraft in descending order. I wonder why they've done that. And what he's meaning there is, I'm pretty sure if you look at damage allocation table, where is it? Yeah, you can see here. So, well, if you've got 4 aircraft in the flight, there's 20% chance that it's going to be aircraft 1 that gets hit. 20% chance it's going to be aircraft 2 that's hit. And then there's more chance, and you're saying the other way about there, Johnny, the trailing aircraft in the flight are more likely to take hit. Yes, yeah, there you go. No, he's saying these are more likely to take hits. As you can see, that's 20%, that's 20%, and then that's 30%, and that's 30% for aircraft 3 and 4. I hadn't really noticed that. It's probably the same as you go down the aircraft. See, it's still only 20% if you've got 3 aircraft of aircraft 1 getting shot, 30% aircraft 2, and then 50% aircraft 3 getting shot. I suppose they do have to balance them out. You would have thought they would have balanced them out evenly, though. And I know you can't put 4 into 10, though, Grant. So, yeah, it has to be split, doesn't it? Two are going to be 3 and 2 are going to be 2. Yeah, well, that's a bit of a pity, isn't it? Wondering if they could have done that better. All they would have needed to do there was have you roll a d12 maybe to make it even. Yeah, if it was a d12, I mean, okay, the game comes with a d10 and everything's rolled with a d10. But if you had a d12 here and then you had the first 3 is aircraft 1, next 3 is aircraft 2, next 3 is aircraft 3, next 3 is aircraft 4. And then for the 3 aircraft, you could have, does that work? 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, no, you've got 3 aircraft, yeah. So you would just have 4, 8, 12. And then for 2 aircraft, you could have, yeah. It works, doesn't it? If you had a D12. Well. But yeah, you can see why they've maybe just done it that way. It's a D10 that you're playing with all game. That's just going to mess things up. But I hadn't noticed that. So I guess it's going to stick in my head now, though. Anyway. So what he's saying is he would use bombs from aircraft 4 first, and then aircraft 3 next, and then leave the aircraft 2 and 1 because they are less likely to get hit. So... yeah, it's a little bit gamey, but these things are... Yeah. Right, hang on. Okay, next one's at the 40-minute mark. He says, you get away with it from one perspective, but it's an opportunity cost of having spent those CBUs when you could have used them elsewhere. Plus the clock is ticking. I'm not quite sure what it is I got away with. I dropped the bombs and we failed to hit the first target, didn't we? But I mean, yeah, he said we've used the bombs and that, and yeah. I think in actual fact, if I was to have done it again, I would have just flown over the top of that, or if I realised I had time come round about it. Anyway, right. This one at the 1 hour, 1 minute and 15-second mark. One thing to note is the proviso on rally points that they have to be at least 10 hexes from a target. Now, when I was looking at these orbit points, I thought that at first, and then I thought, no, it's airfields and friendly airfields, and for some reason I didn't then go and check it, and I should have done. So, rally point. And remember, rally points, orbit points count as rally points, right? unless otherwise stated. Orbit points maybe no. Orbit points are also considered rally points for the purpose of recovery. And then we did eventually realise that additionally all friendly open airfields may be used as rally points. So just to confirm again, where's it? Yeah, it says rally points must be at least 10 hexes from a site's target hexes. So, but they're orbit points, so are they, it does say they're considered rally points, which refers you to rule 8.35, which is what I've just read about rally points. Yeah, so it must be that they are all the same then. Okay, and and friendly airfields as well then? Do they have to be within 10 to be using them? Well, not that matters, because that's where the airfield is. Yeah. He says, while the rules talk about it in terms of excluding airfields, I believe this means the orbit point that Mother started adjacent to cannot be used as a rally point. By my count, the other two orbit points are 10 plus hexes away from the target. Yeah, he's talking about that one and that one. So this must be 10. I mean, that our target's there, isn't it? 2, 3, 4, 5. That's only 6 away. 7, 8, 9. Well, that's exactly 10 away. There's 10... At least 10 hexes, yeah, so that one is okay. Yeah. Well, I looked and then thought, right, I'm going to allow myself a wee bit slightly different movement with dodge fight here, because I was heading towards there. But I can't. I'm going to have to spend another turn reaching that orbit point. So now I should be able to reach that one with that anyway. So that's fine. I'll just fly to that one. So it won't be, well, the only difference will be I'll be slightly further away from the action as well. But it's right enough. So thanks for bringing that one up, John. He says the 1 hour, 1 minute and 50 second mark. At risk of ruining the thread I talked about starting, this... Right, that's an alarm went off because I've got something I need to go and do. I just finished this comment though, because this is the last one in part 8. The risk of ruining the thread I talked about starting. This was about how people have went about in the past playing this and what they've done with these. He gives his version of what he would do, I think. He says the southern pair of 2K22s were my targets 1 and 2. So that's the ones that we went for. So for SLAM, with the SA13 being target 3. So hey, there you go. That was eventually I came to the thinking that, well, although I did go for that one, I do admit my thinking was it was because I had to come in through that, but you were getting shot at it anyway, shot by it, it was shooting at you anyway, and it didn't need to get taken out for Mother's issues, the ones for Mother's issues, and the SAM is going to be as an issue too. So it does make sense that they're the 3 targets. He says, with the SC13 being target 3, he says, I ignored the other 3 2K22s, though they did not ignore SLAM. I also think I had SLAM at deck the whole time. So there you go. Dash at deck. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my guess is he would have got grief from this one in the way in, but whether... Well, yeah, he probably would have got grief from them too, because he obviously did go in and try and take the SAM out, didn't he? He's not told us the complete results of that, but yeah, it'd still be interesting to see what other people maybe would have done with that. That makes the most sense. They're the 3 threats that are going to target Mother, outside of the inherent 2K22s and the what is it, the small arms fire that she's going to get as well, but which is the one that took out one of my helicopters. But yeah, the rest on top of that. Okay, right. Thanks for your comments there, John. Now, he does have some from part 9 that have just come in. So, yeah, this part could just be about talking about some comments and that, because I'm not really going to have the time to do anything as well. So, think I might just do that. I will put a warning in the header though, because I dare say some people might read John's comments anyway and not need me to be telling you all about them again. So I can understand that as well. So right, I'm going to take a pause. There's something I've got to go and do, and I'll come back and finish the rest of these comments off. Right, back. Okay, so comments from part 9 from John. The 43-minute 15-second mark. Yeah, it sounds like you have this figured out. First, try to target a detected good order flight within 7 hexes. First, if that's not possible, target a detected flight within 7 hexes that is disordered or aborted. Now there you go, it's mentioned aborted there. So I think I did ask a question at some point. Maybe you've not got to that video yet, John. But you've answered my question there. And my question had been, when it said good order, a good order flight, does that just mean not disordered, or could it mean disordered or aborted? And you kind of feel like it would, because aborted flights are just going away anyway, aren't they? So that kind of answers it there, I think. So I think that classes aborted flights is not in good order. That seems as common sense, I suppose, but I guess just with the words, I'm just, again, my way of reading some things, the fact that it just says good order flights. So, I don't know. I mean, I assumed it was a flight that wasn't disordered, but, and then, I suppose, yeah, if you think about it, it clearly means a flight that's not aborted as well. I guess maybe just would have preferred the words, however. Okay, so we have got that right in that thinking. That was how I thought it worked. Alright, there's only 3 comments here, that's good. Right, let me look at this one, because I don't know what he's on about here. Okay, it's when I realised the Mechlin flight moving round, that I was able to get around by setting my speed at 4. He says you put a dash marker on the MiG-25 PD, but they cannot go speed 4 and be dashing. Dash throttle is between max combat and max dash inclusive, which for this aircraft, medium, is 5 or 6. Yeah, I mean, if I had left, obviously I wasn't intending on dashing then, once I realised, John, that I could do the move I made. So if I left the dash marker on them, see, that was the thing. I put them on these cards, so I'm not awful sure if I changed that or not. I guess if I went to the admin phase and seen myself knocking a fuel point off the MiG-25 PD, then I would realise that I'd still left the dash marker. Because, yeah, clearly all I wanted to do there was stay at medium altitude and set my speed at 4, which I can do, can't I? Yeah, because he says dash throttle is between max combat and max dash, which is between 5 and 6. So I could put dash throttle and set it at 5 or 6. So just while I've got you there, John, I think I might have asked this elsewhere. Why would you want to do that though, Grant? If you wanted to set dash throttle, so if I was at lower deck altitude, I could set dash throttle, but I could select a speed of 4. I don't. There's not probably many times that you would want to do that, because you're going to spend an extra fuel point to do it. But as we've noticed here, the speed of 4 allows you to do the free 60-degree turns. Well, you might be just saying, well, why do you want to bother dashing? Just set your speed at combat 4. I'm sure something came up where I wanted to select dash throttle. Well, the only reason could have been for that is to zoom climb, couldn't it? Maybe it was zoom climb. Whereas if I zoom climb at speed 5, I don't get the benefit of the free 60-degree turns, So maybe, but I'm assuming I could do that. But yeah, John, I must have forgot because initially I think I had to dash to try and get into position, and then when I realised I talked about setting my speed at 4, but I can because I can reduce. I can go one less than my normal combat speed, can't I? So that was a mistake if I still selected dash throttle then. So, but he's made that comment there. So whether I've done the MiG 25 out of a, is it going to be relevant? It's not. He's used 2 fuel points. I don't think it's going to be relevant. I suppose I could look at the admin phase to see. Well, let's get his last comment finished first, and I'll see if I can maybe find it. Okay. Yeah, just checking back on that part and whether John maybe doesn't see it all. But I reset that move anyway because I realised that that's when I spot that I've made that mistake back in part 7, and I want to stop there and see if I can fix it. And well, by that time it's almost at an hour anyway, the video, so I think I just wrap things up there. But I put it back, so I take all the markers off and I don't actually make the move. So I that was my intention, was not to have been dashing and go at speed 4, John. That's what that was. Right, and then his last comment, let's just say the pilot was momentarily befuddled by a minor mechanical problem, thus failed to turn to engage last time. He's now solved the problem and pulled some G's to get in the mix. Alright, okay, he's getting me out of this one. By basically saying that the pilot made a wee error and they couldn't get round, and but now he's going in. So that'll do me, John. Well, there's nothing I could really do about it. The mistake was gone, and that was that. Right, okay, many thanks for your comments again. That only took me 37 minutes to to get them all down there, and I'll probably just put this out as a part like this rather than start and try and play any gameplay. Now, some people might not be interested in going over all this. I find it really interesting to, it helps me with the game. You can see that I've been making some mistakes there. One of the ones that maybe John's not 100% clear on, which, yeah, I think I'm going to go and pop that question off just now, John, about the small arms coming from the 2K. Does it come from a 2K22? Well, not just 2K22. We could be talking any of the radar A's, really. Yeah, I mean, if you had NATO ones, do they do it as well? So yeah, I think I will go and pop that question out there. But yeah, it's interesting to me now. I know some of you might watching the video and looking at John's comments and reading them and not need to hear me going over it again. I want to go over it for my own self. So, but I will put a comment in the header of this video just saying that there's no gameplay. It's basically me going over John's recent comments. Well, that's part 7, 8 and 9, so we've probably got more to come once John does get around to catching up. But he did say I was busy with family things coming up, so and I did zoom on a bit, to be honest, and well, that slowed me down a bit, just having a part just talking about your comments there, John. So anyway, okay, yeah, I think I will just cut it there because I'm near enough 40 minutes. And I don't really have much time left anyway today. I didn't think I was going to get in and done, but at least it gets me a wee bit up to date with, well, it does get me up to date with his comments up to now. I'll try and make some reply, John, but as always, well, that's the other thing about putting mentioning these comments in the videos. It means I can maybe get away with not replying physically and to them. Not that I don't. It just takes extra time up, and I want to get the game moving. Really, that's it. Right, okay, I'll leave it for now, and I'll be back with part 17, which hopefully I'll have some gameplay in it. Where are we at? Yeah, we're on Warsaw Pat. We've moved 3 of our flights. Yeah, Mother got started, but didn't really get very good results, did she? Okay, Well, yeah, I'll probably get some more back in tomorrow, but that'll be me for tonight, because again, up early again tomorrow. So, yeah. Okay, I'll be back soon. Cheers.